Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to The Mandalorian. This time we're on episode 4 of season 2, chapter 12. Last time we met I believe they're called the Clan Kreese, or the Kreese clan. I know there's a clan, and it's called Kreese, so, however that's labeled. But we met three other Mandalorians. We met Bo-Katan, played by the amazing Katie Sackhoff, and also I think voiced by her in the animated shows too. Cosca Reeves, played by Sasha Banks as well. She was amazing, and of course Axe Woves, played by I can't remember his name as well, but he some of his other acting credits include playing Mr. Bakshi over on Marvel's Agents of Shield. So I ever so slightly looked into it, and I think they are in both Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars The Clone Wars. And I think I don't know about Koska and Axe, but Bo-Katan is actually voiced, as far as I read, is actually voiced by Katie Sackhoff too. So that's cool that they were actually able to bring in the character and the actual actress who plays her, and actually fit her up to match the appearance of her animated counterpart too. So we met them. So I think having brought in those characters definitely does open the gates to actually adapt a lot of other characters into the live action universe too. And also I think it definitely opened up the gateway to seeing Ahsoka Tano, because she was name dropped right at the very end. Mando spent the episode helping them capture a Empire kind of weapons carrying ship, like carrying cargo for the Empire, carrying weapons that would allow them to fight back and whatnot. And also because they are on a mission. Bo-Katan especially is on a mission to find the Darksaber and take it back home to Mandalore so she can reinstate her own rule. And she knows Moff Gideon has it. Moff Gideon, whom we saw through hologram, so he is out there somewhere doing God knows what. But she is hunting down the Darksaber, which is in his hand. So I kind of anticipate the final battle of this season being against him, and Mando joining forces, rejoining forces with them, with that clan, and actually helping them retrieve the Darksaber and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, so at the end, so in return for his aid, she did actually tell him, give him a tip, to find the Jedi, to find the people that Baby Yoda belongs to, him being force sensitive at all, and also she told him go to the planet of Caladan, to the forest, the forest planet of Caladan. Go to the city of Corvus, and there he will find Ahsoka Tano, and to tell her that he was sent there by Bo-Katan. So we will likely see. I don't know when, but we will very likely see Ahsoka Tano in this season, at least. I don't know if it's going to be right in this episode, or if they're actually going to kind of wait a bit and actually kind of keep fans on edge and waiting to see her, because she is a very big character. She is, in the animated series alone, she is a huge character. I think she's like one of the leads. And stuff. So seeing her is going to be for the much more hardcore Star Wars fans, the ones who have actually bothered to go deeper into the lore of the universe. It's going to be a very, very nice welcome surprise, and I will be getting into it. I will be getting into Clone Wars, much sooner, and enjoying that side of the universe as well. So that will be fun. But we got the name drop, so now Mando knows that's where he's got to go next. But I don't know. But again, I think, as much as it would be cool to see her, I don't know if it's something they're going to rush into. They might kind of give him another mission first, or throw him off the tracks just a little bit, and then have him hunt her down at a later time. But I guess we will see. But that was that. And yeah, so other Mandalorians. Moff Gideon is still out there. He's still out there. He is aware of what's happening. He's aware that there are these Mandalorian pirates actually taking down other cruise ships and stealing their cargo and using it to fight back. So he is aware. So I think in that sense, he's also aware that there are people. Bo-Katan, maybe he knows that specifically, but he knows in general there are other pirates out there looking for the Darksaber. So it's going to be a hell of a ride. I think it's going to be a much heavier ride this season than last season. Last season was, I think last season was very, very much kind of based within establishment more than it was lore. This season so far seems to kind of bring in especially because this season is more focused on taking Baby Yoda back to where he came from. We're actually exploring a lot more of what we've seen in other adaptations and in other interpretations of Star Wars lore. So, yeah, it should be fun. It should indeed be fun. So that is pretty much all I have. They got the frog lady and her babies back to the husband, and the kids were born. The kids were born. Some tadpoles came out, so that was super, super fun. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode 4. As always, this will be the highlight. As always, this will be the highlight reel, so if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction for this one, all you need is your own copy of the episode. It's streaming, not for free, but it is streaming on Disney+, so you can sync it up and it'll be all good to go, and hopefully you guys can enjoy that too. But yeah, that is it. So on to episode 4 of The Mandalorian, Season 2. Let's go.
Did you get the wire out? The red wire.
He's got both the wires.
No, the red one.
Yeah, the one in this hand. Yeah, the right one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's helping him patch up the shit.
Red wire where the blue wire goes in the board. See where you took the blue one off?
Yeah. This is like Rocket and Groot in Guardians 2.
No, don't put the blue one back. Put the red one where
this is exactly like Rocket and Groot from Guardians 2. This is exactly like that.
The red one was. But be careful. No.
No. Oh, yeah, that's, yeah. You know,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, lifting his helmet ever slightly. Show Baby Yoda your face. Your son deserves to see his dad's face. Your son deserves to see his dad's face.
Visit some friends for repairs.
Yeah, visit some friends.
So how'd you like to go back to Navarro?
Navarro. Oh, so we do get to see Greef, Karga, and Thingy again, and Cara Dune. Oh, it's Cara. It's Cara, the Marshal. Oh, Cara's the new Marshal. Oh, nice. Oh, damn. Oh, Cara Dune is the new Marshal. Okay. Jesus, might as well have wrapped it in duct tape. This is a nice little family reunion. Yeah.
And you come here, little one. Has Mando been taking good care of you, huh? Have you been taking good care of him? Yeah, he said yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's great to see them both again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Baby Yoda going to school. Oh, he fits right in. Oh. Yeah. And he's already the popular kid. He's already the... That is unrealistic. The new kid is never popular. No. Oh, yeah, he sees food. That's it. Yeah. You've lost his attention. He sees food. He sees cookies. I think those are cookies. He's gonna end up using the Force and just draw the cookies to him. He's gonna end up just using... He's gonna use the Force. That was his first bounty.
You two have met.
That was his first bounty in the... Yeah.
I'm surprised to see you here.
Okay. He's still out and about, yeah.
He's taking care of my book since it was a pollywog.
Well, if he runs off on you again, let me know.
Let me assure you, I do not want to spend any more time in carbonite. Still can't see out of my left eye. There's a lot of heavy weaponry in that place. The Black Bucket would love to dismantle and get their hands on.
And you want to mop up the last of the Imperial force before they do.
Mando, I just want them off my planet.
It would be good to get rid of Imperial soldiers too, if there are any, yeah.
Be completely safe.
Yeah.
We could be a trade anchor for the entire sector.
And the planet would finally be free.
If there's even a slightest mark of Imperial stuff on there, then people will always be afraid and cautious.
And lava? How about if I put you back in carbonite? Get over there.
Oh, damn. For a guy working his debt off, they're being kind of harsh to him.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like he's gonna die. He's gonna end up dying. He's not even gonna get the chance to work off his debt.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Don't look down. Just don't look down. Do not look down. Oh no. Oh no, the drives. Whoa, what's that? Who's that? That's a person in there. That's a person in there, isn't it? They're experimenting
I
on
don't
people.
like this.
Pardon me.
I highly doubt we'll find a donor with a higher M count, though.
High M count.
I recommend that we suspend.
Midichlorians?
The child is small, and
The
I was
child.
only able to harvest a limited amount. Without
They took blood from Baby Yoda. Are they trying to give people the Force?
experiments are to continue as requested. We would again require access to the donor.
They're gonna
I
hunt
will
down.
not disappoint you again, Moff Gideon.
Oh no. Moff Gideon wants the baby. They've got to be trying to give people the Force, right? Because Baby Yoda is Force sensitive. So if they're giving other beings his blood, they want something with a higher midichlorian count. Because I think the way it works is the higher the count, the more Force sensitive you are. Yeah. So the sample of his blood that they took didn't have enough of it. Just once, I would like to see stormtroopers attending like a firing range or something. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Oh.
Alright, baby girl, let's see what you got.
Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Oh, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. Okay. Oh, his speeder. Oh, his speeder. No time. Just keep going. Just keep going. No time. Really? Come on, Greef. You got this. There we go. There we go. Only two more. Yeah, two to go. No. What's this? What's this hand signals? Oh, they're on the sides. They're on the sides. They're up close. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, just the head. Oh, not even the head. Just the helmet. Just the helmet. Yeah. Oh, TIE fighters. Is he deliberately shooting at the walls of the thing? Oh, nice hit. No. Oh, the guns are gone. Yeah, one hit and the guns are gone too. Oh. The Razor Crest is back. The Razor Crest is back.
Hang on, kid.
And Baby Yoda got his cookies. Oh, nice. It's like a roller coaster ride for him. It's like a roller coaster ride for him. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Yeah.
Not too bad, huh, kid?
Oh, he's sick with all the cookies he's had. Yeah, he's had too many. He's
That
had
was
too
some
many.
pretty impressive flying, man. Oh, I owe you.
Let's call it even.
Says here you're from Alderaan.
Mm-hmm.
I served during Alderaan.
I lost everyone.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah. His badge? Or like a token of the time he spent on Alderaan? Whoa! That's a thingy mabobbly. That's a Star Destroyer, isn't it? Is that what those ones are called? I think that one's those big horizontal ones are Star Destroyers. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's a Star Destroyer.
The device has been planted as you requested.
That's the person who worked on the Razor Crest.
You will be well rewarded in the new era.
They're a mole. That person's a mole.
The tracking beacon has been installed on the Razor Crest.
Oh shit.
Does he still have the asset?
Yes, our source confirmed it.
Your source?
And we...
Who's the source? Is it the same person who worked on the ship, or is it someone else? Oh no. Oh, he's got a whole death squad. He's got a whole squad of death people, death troopers. Directed by Carl Weathers. Oh. Yeah, so Greef Karga himself took the mantle of this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, that was very, very fun. It was it was very, very fun to see Cara Dune and Greef Karga yet again returning to Navarre. I figured, I think in the flashbacks it did show them both, and then Mando himself did confirm that, you know, in the shape that they were in, they wouldn't be able to get to Caladan or Corvus, so they need to stop by for repairs. And stopping by at Navarro meant meeting Greef Karga and Cara Dune again, so that was very cool. And he's I think magistrate. Mithral called him, but then Cara Dune is the marshal. Cara Dune is the marshal. So the first marshal we saw was a fake Mandalorian. That was Timothy Oliphant way back in episode 1. That was that was the marshal we saw then. So then he was the marshal. He just wasn't a Mandalorian. So this one, Cara Dune is the new marshal of Navarro. So that is very, very cool. So seeing them, they changed things up too. They've kind of somewhat, you know, gone about improving the actual city and everything. And the old bar, the bar where they literally had a fight out with Moff Gideon and his squad of death troopers and stuff, they turned it into a school. They actually somehow managed to bring a more positive light and energy to it, and they turned it into a school, and a school of kids. So Baby Yoda was very, very appropriately kind of left there to study and stuff, but really Baby Yoda is the kind of pinnacle of childhood. As soon as you see food, everything else goes out the window. The moment you catch a whiff, or like you catch a whiff of food, or you hear food being eaten, or it comes in, you smell it, you smell it from someone else, the moment you catch a scent of it, everything else goes out the window. That is exactly what Baby Yoda does. Like, you know, if he ever comes across, not just food, but if he ever comes across something that he can eat, or something he wants to put in his mouth and swallow, he will, you know, go after it. So yeah, and the kid, I think he was eating cookies. I think it looked like cookies. It could have been macaroons? Is it macaroons or macaroons? Is it macaroons or macaroons? I don't know. I think. Let me actually look those up. I think I've heard them being called like macaroons. I think macaroons. Yeah, it was these ones, like little blue ones. Yeah. So these. Oh, macaron. Yeah, I think it's French. The French macaroon is macaron. Yeah. Okay. I think I might have had these before, very, very long time ago. But yeah, so I don't know if they're cookies still, but little blue macarons is what he wanted. He saw them and he wanted them, and I figured it. So the kid was unwilling to share his food. That is in his right. It's his food. He doesn't have to share it with anyone he doesn't want to share it with. So the kid didn't want to share it. He said no, and he kept looking back. And each time he looked back, Baby Yoda did kind of maintain the eye contact, and he even went so far as to kind of hold his hand out and kind of utter please. He can't say full words yet. But he does make noises and stuff. And yeah, that is something I've noticed. That is like this season, he is so much more childlike than he was last time. Last season, we saw him being childlike, but being somewhat more like explorative in the world around him and in the people around him, and kind of showing off all of these kind of more curious mannerisms. But now, this season, he actually seems like a genuine child. Like he's a lot more vocal. He is so much more vocal than he was last season, and he kind of like, you know, he very much kind of like, it's very much expressed even more so through his body language and his facial expressions and everything. So, you know, it's like he's so much more of a joy to watch, especially the opening scene with him in that tiny little cave in the ship that only he could fit through, helping Mando with the wires. Like that whole scene, that whole scene had the exact same energy as Rocket and Groot kind of talking about the bomb in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. If you in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like they're like planting a bomb in Ego's brain, and he's like, this button starts the countdown, this button blows the bomb up straight away, so do not press this button, and Groot just keeps going to that button, and even when he's at the brain, he's kind of just trying to differentiate between the two, so he had that exact same kind of energy, but with this one, it seemed a lot more childlike too, because I mean, with Groot, he can still talk, he still forms words, even if it is only 3 words. So with this one, it's like, it's just Mando be like, okay, take the red one and put it where the blue one was. Don't make them touch, because they're oppositely charged and it will ruin everything. And don't put the blue one back in. No, put the red one in. Put the red one in where the blue one was. And you just like look at them both so confused. Like Mando is, I think in his defense, Mando was saying a lot of words. Mando was saying like a lot of stuff, and it was like confusing for his 50-year-old brain. He is 50. I can't speak for everyone, but I keep forgetting, despite being a baby, like for his race, he is like 50 years old. He is like actually, like at that point. So like, I mean, Yoda himself was like 900 years old, like almost like, someone in 1,000. He was a good few centuries old, and he was still a badass, even in his older years. So yeah, so Baby Yoda being 50, he's already like Baby Yoda being 50. He's just into food. He like that's all he cares about. He cares about Mando, and he cares about food. If he sees a familiar face, then he'll make some noises and start hugging them. But if he sees Mando and food, Mando and or food, then that's it. That's all he wants. So yeah, but then I figured the more the kid said no, and refused to share his cookies, Baby Yoda would end up just using the Force to pull the cookies towards him. I figured that would happen, and then in the end he did. And even on the ship at the end, he still had it. So I was surprised the kid never put his hand up and told the teacher, or he never tried to take it back on it. He just let Baby Yoda have it. Like, okay, if he can do it, just moving across the Force telepathically and stuff, then I'm not messing with a kid like that. So I don't know what the thought process was there, but that was very, very fun. And I think to see, it was very brief too. I think the only other time we've seen Baby Yoda in an environment like that, in an environment where he actually fits in with other kids and other people his kind of age, was last season, the same episode we first met Cara Dune in the that fishing village one with Omera. He was with kids then. He was kind of like, that one was a much longer episode. We actually saw him fairly more frequently, actually hanging around with kids and doing stuff. But with this one, it was very, very brief, and just like, I think it was like there was a bit less kind of age-based focus on Baby Yoda this episode. Baby Yoda this episode, we actually had like an interesting piece of information regarding his kind of story in this show and in this season, and what's been happening to him and what is happening to him. So that one, I feel like it was just like a kind of, it was more of a scene to show off a bit more of his powers, very, very kind of minimalistically, but also just to like let us know where he is while this is all going on and stuff. So yeah, but Baby Yoda this season, he definitely seems a lot more childlike, and he seems more childlike in a way that's actually fun to watch. It makes sense for his kind of age, and just seeing him. Just seeing him be like that, especially, I think it's especially much more focused on what he does, like the fact that he eats anything and everything, like anything he gets, he puts in his mouth. He tries to see if he can eat it first. If he sees other people eating it, that's basically confirmation for him that he can also eat it. But otherwise, he will just test it, put it in his mouth, and just swallow it and stuff. So yeah, and he has teeth. I think I saw a collection of posts, a collection of pictures on Twitter the other day, that actually showed like zoom in shots of Baby Yoda eating food, and it actually like from this season it actually showed him with teeth this time. So I don't know if he actually had teeth in I think last season he had like a few. I remember like a one or two here and there, like baby teeth on baby teeth on his two jaws, but then now he actually laughs and smiles a bit more now, so you can actually see his teeth actually properly coming through now too. So it's so cute. I need to get Baby Yoda plushie. I don't have any Star Wars merchandise. I need to get more merchandise, but I also desperately need to get like a Baby Yoda. So like the figurines, I feel like those are too big. I don't really have much place to put them, and I think I think it'll be easy to start with an actual plushie that I can hold on to while I'm watching these episodes. If I can get like a little plushie or like a little doll or something, then that would be cooler. But yeah, I don't know. I need to get more Star Wars stuff. I feel like I need to get more Star Wars stuff. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great seeing him. Baby Yoda is, I think, besides from him and Mando, him and Din Djarin are Din Djarin, I should say, are the two kind of combined hearts and souls of this kind of show, and especially this kind of like they are what drives it. They are, it's, from the beginning they've been the kind of driving force of this show. So to see him being more heavily engaged in this season is a delight. It's a pleasure, and it's a delight, and it's everything holy in this intergalactic world. So that was very, very cool. But yeah, we met Mithril. We met Mithril again. He was the very first bounty he was the very first bounty we saw Mando collect. Mando had undoubtedly collected more and more bounties way before that, but he was the first one we saw him collect way back in the season premiere. The introduction of that classic line, like the classic line, like I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold, and he was the first one to actually to be collected as a bounty, and he came out of the carbonite. And he also struck a deal with Greef Karga. He actually started working for Greef Karga as like an accountant of sorts, and he started working under the deal that he can actually pay off his 100 years of debt. I think he said like 350 years or somewhere in the hundreds, because he did later make him give him like a choice of like doing what he said and actually cutting 100 years off his deal. So somewhere in the kind of low hundred section. So yes, it was cool to see him again. It was cool to see him. He was much more heavily kind of involved in this, and he was a great character. He was really great as a kind of like a kind of reluctant comic relief. Like he was just the one who wanted to kind of stay out of trouble, help them if they really wanted him to. Like he didn't really want to be there. He just kind of wanted to stay to the side and let them do their business. But then he had no choice but to actually be drawn into this firefight and actually to help them and stuff. So seeing him was cool. Seeing him survive, I think I was worried he'd end up actually falling into the lava. But I was worried that some like stormtroopers would come by and like fire at the machine, and he'd end up getting startled, or maybe the machine would malfunction and then push him off the thing. Because there was no handrail. There was absolutely no handrail. There was barely anything for him to hang on to. So I thought that might be where he lose him. That might be where we lose him. So luckily that didn't happen. Luckily that did not happen at all. So he survived. He definitely survived, and he even went on back to Navarro with Greef and Cara. So he's gonna continue paying off, working off his debt there. So that was fun. And yeah, so the focus of this episode was that there was actually one final kind of Imperial base still somewhat operating just outside of Navarro, and I think Greef and Cara definitely had kind of good motivations for wanting to take it out, as well as actually asking Mando to come and help them. Like they were right. He did have time to actually kill. Like Baby Yoda was safe at the school. The ship was undergoing repairs. So he actually he did have ample time and opportunity and also motivation. They weren't strangers. They were people he'd worked with before. So it was cool to see all of them working together again. Very, very cool. And Cara Dune being a badass. Just jumping in with her biceps with steel and just snapping necks and punching faces and everything. And they all had blasters, which was very convenient. So that was cool. Seriously, Cara is so badass. And she's so buff. I love her. But yeah, no. So they wiped out the last base, and that base was also a lot more than just. I think initially that they thought it was like a weapons base. Like it was like like something where if it fell, then smugglers and bandits and stuff would just come in, like black market traders would come in, just kind of pick the meat off the bone, so to speak, and actually sell those weapons on the black market, and things would still be hellfire out there. So taking out this place would actually would also decrease the kind of trade like amount of the of Imperial tech and gear in the galaxy, and also just wipe this place off the map too. So taking this base off of Navarro too, kind of left both insiders and outsiders feeling that much more comfortable about Navarro, about trading on Navarro and coming to Navarro, knowing that no more Imperials on the planet. So yeah, that was cool. But they were doing a lot more than that. It was actually, they were doing experimentation. They were doing experimentation on other beings. So I'm just gonna turn on my fan real quick because it is boiling in here. I can Yep, there we go. Yeah, so they were doing experimentation. I think, and as soon as the guy said high M count, I was wondering what M could mean, and then I remembered, okay, Star Wars universe. What in the Star Wars universe could start with M? My first thought was Mace Windu. I won't lie. My first thought was Mace Windu, but then high Mace Windu count. We barely have one left. One died in the movies. I think he might be in the animated series. I'm not sure, but not Mace Windu. Not Mace Windu. Then I remembered. And then my mind, immediately after that, my mind still kind of remained in the prequel kind of series, and in the prequel trilogy. And then I remembered Qui-Gon Jinn having explained to a young Anakin Skywalker that he had, that he had actually one of the highest midichlorian counts that they had ever seen in any being, in any living being, like Jedi or not. They like it was the highest count. It was the highest count of midichlorians that they'd ever seen. So midichlorians, as far as I know, as far as my Star Wars knowledge goes, midichlorians are in everything. It's basically like the Force. It makes up everyone. It makes up everything. But then the higher your midichlorian count is, the more Force sensitive you are. So Baby Yoda being Force sensitive means that he has a high midichlorian count. So that's why. So they would. So end of season, not end of season one, like in season one, when Mando handed Baby Yoda over, and Baby Yoda was in that little kind of pod bed thing with the scientist dude. They're the same one we saw in the hologram. They took his blood. They took one single sample of his blood, knowing that there would be midichlorians in it, knowing that he would be Force sensitive, and they put it into other living beings. So the fact that Mando actually went back and saved his life is very, very good, because had he remained there whilst had he remained there, and had he been with them the entire time, even through the time when they kind of found out that the blood, I think it killed them. I think the blood killed the subjects, but it also, like, the blood, like, didn't really, like, the blood they had on them didn't have a high enough M count, so it didn't really work on them. But it also ended up kind of mutating and deforming the subjects, like we saw in those in those pods. So that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to take blood from Force-sensitive beings, or at least their being, like Baby Yoda, who however they found him. They try to take the blood from him and put it in other beings. And I think maybe what they might be doing is trying to make other beings Force-sensitive, trying to make people Force-sensitive through science as opposed to nature. So, that is what Moff Gideon wants, because the guy was reporting back to Moff Gideon, so that is what he wants. But then why, I wonder? I mean, I guess. Well, it's not really much of a why, because I think the Imperials are still dark side of the Force, so they still believe in the Force. They still have Force wielders on their side, just evil ones. So I think if they can then create more and more Force wielders through technology and science, then that means that they can create dark side wielders at will. So then they can have more like Force wielders on their side, and they can actually enact more and more kind of Sith style injustice across the galaxy. Yeah, okay, so instead of finding natural Force sensitive beings and actually trying to convert them to the dark side or something, because then even if they don't, then they just end up killing them anyway. But if they can actually control who gets the Force, then they can kill off the Jedi, or at least try and kill off the Jedi, but then they can actually use midichlorian, like high midichlorian counted blood, put it into other beings, and then put it into who they choose. I think because then like that little squadron we saw at the end, like the Moff was watching over, like if he can give his own kind of death squad or firing squad the Force, then they'd be unstoppable. And like the more dark side the more members of the dark side that have the Force, the more unstoppable the dark side of the Force actually becomes. The more unstoppable the Imperials become. So yeah, it's pretty nightmarish. It's pretty nightmarish knowing that that's what they're trying to do, and if they succeed, it's what they could, like, that's also what they could do. But yeah, so for one thing, one of the people that worked on the Razor Crest was a mole. They planted. I was wondering, that camera angle looked really bad. I didn't want to say anything in the moment, because I think I was waiting because like it showed the repair person actually going up to the ship and then looking back at Mando, and then the camera cut to Mando, and I was like, wait, is the repaired person watching Mando? Are they actually watching him? Because then if the camera cut back to them, then I'd be like, okay, that's a bit suspicious. But it didn't actually cut back to them, so I thought, no, I didn't really think much of it. But now we know that person repaired the ship, but also then planted a tracking beacon on the Razor Crest, and then reported back to the other person on the on the Star Destroyer. So yeah, I do believe that is a Star Destroyer. I think there's the Death Star, that's the big one that looks like a moon. Then there's Starkiller Base, which is the biggest one, and I think that's the one that Thingy Kylo Ren was on in the sequels. I don't know if it shows up in the original trilogy. I don't know if it shows up in that. I have to go back and watch those ones. But I know it's definitely in the newer ones, the sequel trilogy. It's in those. So Star Killer Base, I think, it's the biggest one they have. But the Star Destroyers, I think, are still those horizontal, slanted, curved kind of ships that still have those lasers and stuff. So I think that was a Star Destroyer. Yeah, sometimes the names don't really mesh in my head well. Like I give the wrong names to different objects in different places and all that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a hassle. But they were on there, and then she reported back, and then they reported back to Moff Gideon, and they also said that like a source confirmed that Baby Yoda was on the race. So I wonder then, the only source that would make sense would be the repair person, because then they saw Mando getting off of the ship with Baby Yoda, and I think they must have figured that, okay, he's not going to get back on the ship without Baby Yoda either. So it would make sense. So. And especially because like it would be straight after the Imperial base stuff happened. Mando left them, flew out with the jetpack, and then he would have gone to check on the ship to see. He would have gone to check on the ship first to see if it was actually ready for flight and if it was actually functional again. And if it was, he would have then gone back to pick up Baby Yoda, because then he would be thinking, okay, I can just get Baby Yoda, pick up the ship, take out the TIE fighters, and then just be on my merry way. So then the repair person would have actually known Mando would get back on the ship with Baby Yoda. He would have seen it happen, and then yeah. So then that way they'd be able to confirm, okay, yeah, so the Mandalorian did in fact get back on the ship with the asset, so it's with them, so you just need to track the ship and then you can find them and stuff. Yeah, so that sucks, having a mole inside Navarro, having an Imperial mole inside Navarro, that definitely sucks. But yeah, so they want Baby Yoda so they can take more of his blood. They can take more of Baby Yoda's blood and use it to create to experiment on other beings and potentially make them force sensitive. So screw the Imperials. Screw for many more reasons than that. But yeah, just screw the Imperials. And we also had a little tidbit on the end where the rebel, the Asian guy who was the rebel pilot, who actually helped out with the giant space pilots and stuff. Just him, not Dave Filoni too, just him. He came by, having supposedly detected the Razor Crest being on Navarro and checking the logs and everything, and thingy, Greef covered up for him. Greef covered up for Mando and said that, it's just like an older system, it can't really detect anything pre or post Empire, so it's like, yeah, it's all the same and everything. So then that business was done, but then he approached Cara Dune. And actually kind of broached her about the idea of actually joining the rebels and being one of them, being a soldier alongside them and stuff, and even kind of mentioned that, having known that she was on Alderaan and that he served during Alderaan, and he left behind like a little badge. I thought it was going to be his official badge, but then I felt like he probably couldn't leave that behind if he did have one, so then he might leave behind like, maybe it was like proof that he actually fought on Alderaan, maybe like a token of his service and his kind of token in service of his fighting, his combat during Alderaan, and actually proving he was there, and he even shared his condolences and everything. So yes, I think that does make you wonder what the next path could be for Cara Dune, because she seems fairly happy being a marshal. On Navarro, and she's not directly involved in any rebel stuff. She's just kind of happy to take out Imperial scum wherever they come by. But then I can't help but wonder if she does miss her old soldier days, because she did use that. She did use to actually fight rebels and fight Imperials a lot. Actually helping to take down like Imperial warlords and warmongers and stuff. So you wonder if she misses those days too. If she actually misses wiping out Imperial kind of soldiers and actually saving people from them and actually wiping out that kind of evil from the galaxy. So then we we might see her revisiting those roots and actually doing some good. Because being a marshal and all is cool, like, but then she'd be stuck in one place. She'd just be protecting one place, knowing that the Imperials, in some form, are still out there and actually harming other planets, harming other people. So then, by going with the rebels, she'd be able to go back to her roots, go back to actually protecting people and actually doing more good and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see where the path among the stars takes her. But I guess we'll see. But seeing her as a marshal is so cool. Like a Marshal Cara Dune has such a great ring to it. And just seeing her back again, seeing her with like some some authority and stuff now is actually really cool as well. Because I think back on, I can't remember what the planet was, but back on that planet, like back on the planet we first met her at, the kind of farming planet. Back there, she didn't really have much of like an official role. She was just kind of there taking out bandits. She got paid in food and stuff, and she had a place to stay. But with this one being an actual marshal, she's known, she's respected, she has that kind of power. She can protect people with a bit more authority and everything. So she feels better being known for her efforts and also kind of protecting people on a much more kind of aware scale and much more kind of known scale. So yeah, I look forward to seeing actually like what she chooses to do, where she chooses to go. And again, just like season 1, like the season 2 ending could also show Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda, Mando, even re-enlisting their aid against Moff Gideon again. So I mean, they defeat him one time. This time, maybe they can kill him too, and take back the Darksaber. But we'll see. I guess we will see. But yeah, so now the ship has been fixed. The ship has been officially fixed. So I think maybe, just maybe, the next stop might be Caladan, might be Corvus, might be Ahsoka Tano, but I don't know, because then again, having that tracking beacon on the ship, having that tracking beacon on the Razor Crest makes things much more complicated now, because if he does really go there and find her, depending on how long he stays there and how much time he gives Moff Gideon and his Imperial soldiers time to track him, depending on how much time he gives them, he gets there, and we could have meeting Ahsoka Tano and having to fight off Imperial trackers all in the same episode. And I don't know if that is something I'm able to actually handle. Meeting her would be great, but then actually having especially if she's like hiding out. Having not watched the Clone Wars, I don't know what her situation is on that planet, if this is set after Clone Wars and if this is like after that story, because then Clone Wars itself has ended. It ran for like 7 seasons and stuff, so I think depending on whether or not this is set after, I mean, yeah, it has to be, right? I think it has to be, because from what I've heard, it is set between episode 2 and episode 3. I think. Yeah, it's set between Attack of the Clones is episode 2 and Revenge of the Sith is episode 3. So I think it's set between the entire show, to my knowledge, to my understanding, it's meant to be set between those 2 movies. So then, yeah, and then Mandalorian takes place after episode 6. Yeah, that takes place after episode 6, so then it has to be the end of that. It has to be what happens to her after that story. So then, I also have to. I also have to prepare myself for any spoilers she might mention of any events or any character stuff that happens in the show, or anything. But I don't know. I mean, being that far ahead, I doubt it. But then knowing the writers and knowing the fans of Clone Wars that will also be watching Mandalorian, you can't help but expect actually some little Easter eggs and little hints in there to satisfy them too, which is awesome. But yeah, that makes me wonder, are we going to get both tracking and finding in all in one episode? Because again, if she's hiding out on that planet, then she will not appreciate like a Mandalorian leading like a squad of stormtroopers or death troopers or whatever troopers all the way to a hiding spot. So yeah, and especially if she's hiding out on like a forest planet, that seems pretty. It sounds like it should be pretty remote, pretty isolated. And if like a Mandalorian just comes in followed by a bunch of TIE fighters, then it's not going to be the most pleasant kind of surprise. So I don't know, but chances are now that the ship's fixed up and now he knows where he's going and he has a ship capable of handling that travel, he might well be going there. So I guess we'll see in the next episode. But this was fun. This was such fun. Carl Weathers, the director, he did a great job. Greef Karga did a great job. And I think I'm always I think somewhat more admired towards like actors who both direct and act in the product in the films and TV show episodes that they actually like be an episode of a TV show or a movie or whatever. Like I always admire actors who decide to go into who actually who act in the episode and direct it themselves. Carl Weathers, he did a great job. He did a great job on this episode. So and I think him knowing who Greef Karga is, he brought both himself, he brought both Greef Karga and Cara Dune back in a really memorable, really fun way. Like, you bring them back, it only makes sense to have them ask for Mando's help in wiping out an old Imperial base. Like, they're working together, they're working as a team, just like the old days and everything. So that was really, really fun. But yeah, it was a great episode. So on to the next one, which will be coming soon. So yeah, that was The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 4, Chapter 12. It was Chapter 12. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on The Mandalorian. Once again, the full-length reaction will be available on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.